News Radio WAM 1180 welcomes you to the Seniors Rock Show. The Seniors Rock Show, a lively weekly discussion, shedding a bright light on aging with fun, entertainment, and important info for all adults. Join us with your comments or questions. Call or text 222-1180 or 1-800-295-1180. Now, from the News Radio WAM 1180 studios in downtown Rochester, here's your host, Joanna Palvino.
Well, welcome to Seniors Rock, folks. We are here today to have some fun with you and to get some important information out there, too. I am Joanna, your host, and I'm here with my co-host, estate planning attorney Michael Robinson of the Law Office of Michael Robinson. How you doing, Mike?
Good morning, Joanna. I'm doing very well. How about yourself?
Very well, thank you. It's Saturday morning. What could be wrong, right? And
That's right.
yeah, Pam took a day off. We're gonna have to talk to her about this. No, I'm kidding. But we've got Noah. He's up in the studio and he's keeping us all together. And he'd answer the phone if you do call. We are live. It's 585. What is the number? 295-1180 is the it's 1-800-295-1180 or 585-222-1180. Anyway, it is a live show. We're here from 11 till noon every Saturday. And today we've got some great guests, Mike. We've got Dr. Jamie Mazza from Agape Physical Therapy, and she's here to give us some good information that I think everybody can probably use, and that's on desk ergonomics. So, folks, the way you sit and hold the mouse, it actually matters. So you want to hear what she has to say about that. If you use a computer, it's important stuff. Then we'll have Giovanna Gigi Larmino of Touching Hearts at Home join us to answer some questions that we have about in-home companion care. And that's a topic that I think there's some confusion about. So we're looking forward to having Gigi on today too. There's speaking of important topics, I want to get right to the main thing today, which is to remind important topics remind me of Grape. That's what I was trying to say. The Greater Rochester Area Partnership for the Elderly. And if you're a regular listener, you know that Mike's law firm is also a member of Grape, and so is the Seniors Rock Radio Show, and so is Touching Hearts at Home, and so is Agape Physical Therapy, and coincidentally, all of our sponsors, all of our show sponsors are members of Grape. So I'm very proud of that because advocacy, education, and networking, that's what we do, and that's what Grape does to enhance the services for elders and their families, and that's what the core of Grape is and what the core of the show is. So it's a great match. And yesterday was a very important day for advocacy. And I'm going to let Mike tell you about it because he was there. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it, but we're going to get a nice recap today. Mike, tell us about it.
Yeah, Joanna. So yesterday was the annual legislative breakfast sponsored by Grape. And each year we get messages from the state Office for the Aging, many of our local legislators, state and Assembly and Senate representatives. The county executive is represented. Mayor Evans always is there as well. And so we learn about, what's happening at both the state and federal level as it pertains to services for older adults, what's happening locally, what are the challenges, and what are the priorities for us to pursue to address those challenges. And I always find those meetings both encouraging and a little distressing, very honestly. Joanna, encouraging because, as you and I know, I think our regular listeners know, we have a lot of resources in the Rochester area for seniors and a lot of organizations whose mission is to improve the quality of life for seniors. And so when at these legislative breakfasts, because you've been to them in the past, of course, it's always encouraging to see how many people are there who are dedicated to enhancing the quality of life for seniors in the community and the number of organizations that they represent. But
strength in numbers, right? I mean, it really does. You could feel it when you're in those rooms.
It absolutely. And the energy is always great. But, the flip side is that perennially all of those organizations are underfunded. And it gets to I mean, they are chronically underfunded, and it gets to a point, and we're at that point now, where it really is a crisis. And a couple of the statistics that jumped out at me are right now 35%. That's more than a third of adults, older adults in Rochester, are living at the poverty level or below, and that's just an incredible statistic. In fact, I didn't know this. Rochester has the second highest poverty rate in the state, behind only the Bronx.
Yikes.
But again, a third of seniors, more than a third of seniors are impacted, and so what that means is that the ability for not-for-profit organizations, governmental organizations to provide support services for seniors and their caregivers is more critical than ever. Of course, Anne Marie Cook is always there representing Lifespan, lays out some legislative priorities. And we really do need for whether it's transportation services, caregiver support services, we need to encourage our state and federal legislators to provide appropriate funding for those services. And in another area that we've talked about on this show before, that was also emphasized yesterday morning, was the impact of funding on nursing homes, Medicaid funding in particular. Medicaid pays for 75% of nursing home stays. So
Hmm.
it's not a small number by any means. It is the overwhelming majority of services in nursing homes are covered by Medicaid, and yet the Medicaid reimbursement rate to nursing homes is much lower than the cost of operation. And what that means is that, as we know, we've had nursing homes close in the area because it just was not economically sustainable for them to remain in operations. Just this past week, we had another nursing home close here in the Rochester area. There's already a crisis in terms
Hmm.
of not enough beds for residents who need nursing home care. Not only is that a problem for those individuals and their families, but it backs up the hospitals.
Yep.
Because nursing homes are an off ramp for hospitals, for people who need physical therapy or they don't need hospital care, but they do need skilled nursing care. And if there aren't enough beds for those individuals to go to, now we have what we're hearing 120, 130% occupancy at the area hospitals. So that impacts everybody. It just backs up the health system. So a couple of things that were recommended or identified as areas that we could encourage our legislators to address. And one of those is to update and increase the Medicaid reimbursement rate for nursing homes so that they are able to, first of all, operate at a sustainable level. They're able to pay nurses and other aides who provide care to seniors. The current funding hasn't even kept up with the rate of inflation. So we can contact our governor's office, we can contact our legislators and encourage them to include in the budget increases in the Medicaid reimbursement rates for nursing homes in particular, although frankly, that could extend to even primary care providers as well, because the other issue that results from these problems is for the other sorts of services that are available, whether it's, again, transportation services, caregiver services, recreational services, food and nutrition services, even though those programs may exist, because they are chronically underfunded, they are not able to service everyone who needs those programs. There is a very long wait list for many of those programs. Even if someone is able to get on the wait list and otherwise have access, they may have transportation barriers to being able to access those programs. So we need to make sure that our state budget properly funds those priorities because it really has reached a crisis situation. And
It I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, and I was going to say, and it also extends to the federal level too. I mean, anybody who listens
Mhm.
to the news knows that there's this big push to be making budget cuts at the federal level, and there's not too many areas where you can find money to cut. And one of the areas that the current administration is looking at is Medicaid.
Ay,
And
ay, ay.
again, Medicaid, for people who don't know, it's a joint federal and state program. There are state funds that provide Medicaid services, but there are also federal funds given to the states to provide those services. And if that funding is cut or reduced, there again, it's going to put states and local municipalities in a bind as far as the sorts of services that they're able to provide.
Absolutely. Wow, it's a doom. It's a very sad state of affairs, if you will. And what a great recap, Mike. And if it's important information, folks, if you want to share it, we're going to be posting this show as we do with all the shows and past shows at seniorsrockradio.com. So you'll find that this week if you want to hear it again. I'll remind you by 2035, 65 plus, those people, that number of people are going to surpass the people that are under 18 for the first time ever in history. So contact your legislators, folks. Tell them that we need them to vote to increase nursing home funding. So important. Grape is important, and everybody is important. So let's get on that. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox here and tell you that next, Dr. Jamie Mazza of Agape Physical Therapy in Brockport joins us, and we're going to have a discussion about desk ergonomics next on the Seniors Rock Radio Show.
Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to strawberry fields. Nothing is real, and nothing to get hung about. Strawberry fields forever.
And welcome back to the Seniors Rock Show. And with us now is Dr. Jamie Mazza from Agape Physical Therapy in Brockport. Jamie is an orthopedic certified specialist, a doctor of physical therapy, and the assistant clinical coordinator at Agape Brockport. Jamie, among other things, specializes in physical therapy for the hearing impaired. But today she's here to talk to us about desk ergonomics. Welcome back, Dr. Jamie Mazza.
Hey, how's it going?
Very well. Happy Saturday.
Good to hear you, Jamie. We're glad to have you back. I have a couple questions. I saw something about you I have to ask. First of
Okay.
all, I see one of your hobbies is ice hockey. Do you play or go?
Yeah, I play.
What do you play? What position? That's crazy. I love it. I love hockey.
I'm a defenseman.
Good for you. That takes a lot of strength. So, and also, the other thing I had to ask you is, you also play in a band. You have a lot of talents. I'm telling you. What do you
Ah,
play in the band?
I play bass guitar.
Yikes. She's got
Yeah,
it all going on here. And
it's a
I
lot of
was
fun.
impressed,
Yeah.
really. And of course, you have a daughter that you're raising. You're a very
Yeah.
busy woman. And we're really happy to have you back. And you're going to talk today
Oh,
about
thank
ergonomics, which I think is really cool because I'm crazy about making sure that my chair and everything works right when I'm sitting at the desk because I can tell the difference if it is not. And I might have learned that
you.
at
Absolutely.
Agape too. So I'll start the
Yeah.
questions. What is ergonomics?
Well, so technically speaking, ergonomics is the study of people's efficiency in their working environment, but it actually extends past just, sitting at a desk. It can apply to things, such as you're doing crafts at home, looking on your phone, watching TV, all that kind of stuff. Even kids in the classroom. It really it goes past just sitting at the desk and at the computer, but that is what we typically are
Yeah.
focused on.
Good
And
points.
and
And
how do
also the
you
kids with the backpacks. I just thought of that. I forgot there's a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
that play in there. Go ahead, Mike.
Right.
Yeah, how do you apply ergonomics to physical therapy?
Well, actually, I do it quite a bit. So, for example, if I have somebody that's coming in, we'll just throw an injury out there, like, neck pain, one of the first things I'm asking is, about their sleep situation. So even thinking about how you're sleeping at night, what position you're in at night. If you're on your phone, are you staring down at your phone? All right, when you're looking at the TV, sitting at home, are you staring up? Are you looking down? Like all of those kinds of things. So again, and obviously the work situation, sitting at their desk, we have a big, lengthy discussion about that typically.
What are the recommendations? I mean, so we know there's a lot of ways we could do it wrong. How do we do it right? What are the good sitting positions?
So typically speaking, when you are looking at a screen, so let's just, keep it simple and we'll say looking at like a computer screen. One of the first things I look at is, when you're sitting up nice and tall, obviously not slouched, are you looking at the top of the screen? Are you looking over the computer? Are you looking down? What's your neck position essentially? So most people nowadays are on laptops, which is quite honestly ergonomically horrendous. And most people are
I
either
have mine
looking
elevated on a little tray. That
Yep.
helps, right?
Yes, it does. So they're either looking down or they do what you just said and they elevate it, which is excellent. But then if you don't use an external keyboard from the laptop, then your hands end up a little bit too high, which can cause your shoulders to raise up, like you're shrugging your shoulders essentially, and that leads to other issues as well. So a lot of times I'm recommending people get, something that they can either plug in or a wireless keyboard that they can put their arms in the appropriate position. So loosely defined, when you're sitting there, sitting up nice and tall, feet should be flat on the ground. You should be looking straight ahead. Wrists should be neutral. Your elbows are a little bit bent past, I should say more open than 90 degrees. So about 90 to 110 degrees. So a little bit less bent. Good low back support so you don't end up slouching because, we're not designed to sit for long periods of time, and then, obviously getting up every 30 to 60 minutes is the best option. If you're on the phone a lot, I usually recommend using a headset just to avoid kind of kinking your neck one way or the other.
Excellent.
So
I hear that music.
Things, yeah.
Dr. Jamie Mazza, thank you for joining us. These are great tips, good information. Folks, you can find her at the Brockport Agape office, and Agape is really different. Recovery, wellness, and performance start here. And that's their slogan, and they live up to it. Thank you, Doctor. I hope you have a great rest of the weekend.
Thank you.
And next, yep, thanks much. And folks, hang on, because next we're going to talk about companion care with Gigi Larmineau of Touching Hearts at Home here on News Radio Wham 1180.
Welcome back to Seniors Rock Radio. I am Joanna, your host, and joining us now is Giovanna Larmineau, and she's the marketing manager with Touching Hearts at Home. They are a local companion care company that's been in the area for over 20 years. And if you're a member of Grape, we've been talking about Grape a lot today. That's the Greater Rochester Partnership for the Elderly. You'll know Gigi because she does a lot of volunteer work there, and she Touching Hearts at Home is now a supporting sponsor of the show. We're excited about that. They're a very respected organization in the field of elder care here in the Rochester area and around the country, I believe. So thank you for joining us to tell us more about Touching Hearts at Home in Rochester. Hi, Gigi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. And Mike, I believe you just met Gigi today, but she's got a lot of information. I think I'm going to let you start with the questions.
Yeah, Gigi, thanks for joining us. Yeah, I'm looking forward to learning more about what a companion care company can and cannot do. So, for starters, what type of support does Touching Hearts provide to people looking for home care or companion care?
So, Mike, actually, a lot of companion cares are different, believe it or not. We do offer different things. So, at Touching Hearts, we do, of course, offer all of the basics that people would think when they think of companion care. So, taking people to doctor's appointments or grocery shopping, spending time with them doing their favorite hobbies. But we can also do so much more than that. We are non-medical, but we are still hands-on. So we can still help with dressing and bathing. We do, meals and housekeeping and laundry. When it comes to doctor's appointments, we are not just a door-to-door service. We can, with client permission, go all the way into their doctor's appointments with them, take notes for their families if their families weren't able to make the appointments. So it truly is, every companion care really is very different, and we are able to offer as much as possible as a companion care agency.
Yeah, and how do you match a caregiver with a client?
So that process is actually a very extensive process that we have been doing since we began operations. So at Touching Hearts, the way it works is if someone such as myself goes out and meets a client, I spend lots of time with them, getting to know them, their likes, their dislikes, their personality. And the goal is to leave that meeting really as a new friend. Right. So we really get to know them on a personal level. And then I take all the information I've learned back to the team and share that with the team. And we go through our care partners to see who would be the best match. So we have about 140 care partners. So we have a very large pool to pull from. So we are really able to match people with someone that would be a good fit.
Well, I think you might have answered my question. The next one was staffing. That's a concern in a lot of places, and the caregiver roles have been a struggle for many companion care organizations like yours. How does Touching Hearts overcome this? Because you do seem to have the staff and ready to go all the time.
We do. So we are incredibly fortunate to have an amazing team. As I mentioned, I think we are now over 140 care partners. I would say the biggest piece to having such a great pool of staff is that we truly go out of our way to accommodate our staff and support them just as much as we support our clients. So we try to do everything we can to make sure our staff is well taken care of and to make sure that they're able to properly care for our clients. And that matching piece also plays a huge role in avoiding burnout. So burnout is a huge thing in the medical field these days, and not properly matching. For example, if you have a companion who maybe they have no dementia experience, but they have a lot of experience as a companion otherwise, if you pair them with someone who maybe has dementia, that's not going to be a good fit for the client, and the staff member may end up very burned out. And that ends up being an issue for a lot of organizations in the field. And I think because we are so good at that, we are really able to avoid that and maintain our staff.
And Gigi, related to that, you not only are good about matching the caregiver with the client, but you tailor the type of care for the client, correct?
Absolutely. Yes. So every client is treated in whatever way they are looking to be treated. So we customize everything. Everything is based on their quality of life, and quality of life looks different for everyone. So the care plan and what we create to take care of these clients or help them in their homes and in their lives, it should not look the same for everybody. We're all individuals, right? And care is exactly the same. What might be right for you, Joanna, is not going to be right for Mike. And so we
Right.
truly are able to customize based on what that client really needs.
And I guarantee you that's true.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Anyway, is there anything I love you've really summed up what you folks do, and I really am impressed with this company and with the folks that work there. And I remember when Mark McDermott came to town years ago, and so it's amazing that you're still here because so many companies have changed or become national and all that stuff. So it's really nice that we have that local, uh, person filling those shoes. What is something important that people may not know about Touching Hearts at Home in our community?
So one thing that a lot of people do not know, actually, there's two things. One is that Mark, our owner, he is local. He is from Pittsford. And him and his brother started this business because many, many years ago, their mom had cancer. And when they were looking for care for her, they found that there were so many holes in the care and so they were just unable to find proper care for her. And after she passed away, they decided to change that. And that is a huge piece to how Touching Hearts runs till this day.
How so many of us have gotten become advocates and gotten involved in Grape and some of these organizations to try to make things different and to try to enhance services because of personal experiences. That's
Yes.
usually the way people enter this whole thing. So,
Yep.
folks, if you haven't had experience yet, believe me, you will. So, I hope that you're listening to some of these things today and learning because it's great information. Gigi, I'd like to learn a little bit more about you. Is there anyone at your home that you'd like to say hello to?
Oh, sure. I would love to say hi to my husband and my kids. I
Yeah.
have two little girls. They are 4 and 10 months old, so they keep me super busy when I am not working.
Wonderful. That's terrific. And we're really happy that you're going to be on a more regular basis because people will be able to call and ask you questions too. And,
Great.
thank you again for being with us. And it's exceptional home care. Is there anything else you wanted to mention before we go?
No, just I'm grateful for being here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Great.
Exceptional home care, folks, for peace of mind and compassionate support for you and your loved ones. Contact Touching Hearts at Home.
All right, and folks, hang on because we've got more Seniors Rock Radio right after the break here on News Radio Wham 1180.
Thank you, Noah. You've done a nice job here today, and those bumps are really nice. I'm enjoying the music. I'm just kind of swaying at my desk right now, but I wanted to thank you for a nice job, and I want to thank Mike for recapping that great legislative breakfast meeting yesterday. That was quite a feat because there was a lot of information, and folks, I saw the presentation online yesterday. We all got it, that are in the Grape organization, and there were a lot of figures and facts there. So good job in calling that down. And I'm glad that everybody joined us today. I hope you'll tell your friends and your family because, again, this information, if you don't need it now, I'm going to bet you that you will someday. So I hope that we're doing our job here in helping you as well. So next week, we're going to have a hearing show. And I'm excited because I haven't seen Dr. Peter Hart or a couple of the people from Heart Hearing and Balance Centers in a while. And I'm looking forward to having them on. We're going to have two doctors of hearing from Heart Hearing and Balance Centers on. They're going to be with us for the hour. So, folks, get your questions ready because I know a lot of people have tinnitus and have different questions about hearing and the hearing aids, which, they change rapidly all the time now with all of the technology. So that's going to be a great show next week at 11, live at 11, as we are every week. And also wanted to remind folks that you still have time to go and get tickets for Gypsy. That's the Broadway and Brighton series. That's the show that's on right now at OFC Creations Theater Center through February 16th. If you haven't seen it, you have to check it out. It's a lot of fun, and it's ages 16 and up. It's a very classic show, and it's starring Jodie Benson as Mama Rose. And again, you can get more info on that and the other shows in the series at ofccreations.com. I love that place. There's not a bad seat in the theater. It's very new and nice. And in the Old Farm Cafe, Mike is next door. I don't know if you've been there, but it's like a eating experience. It's having a theatrical experience with your food.
Well, that sounds pretty interesting. I haven't gotten there yet, but we will.
All right. And what else are you going to be doing this weekend? Anything?
Well, I'm not going to be doing this, but a couple of events going on. There's the Lunar New Year celebration at the Thomas Flynn Campus Center at MCC. That's going on
Cool.
from 1 to 4 this afternoon. So, folks, you can get in and out before the snow starts to fall, and that's free. Also, the Central Library downtown throughout Black History Month here in February is hosting a Black Film Festival, and today at 2 o'clock, it's the film 42, which is the story of Jackie Robinson's integration into Major League Baseball. So I've seen that film. It's a good film. So that's also free. Got a full moon coming up Tuesday and Wednesday. I don't know if the sky will be clear enough to see it. Do you know what that moon is called, Joanna?
Oh, no, I don't know. Wait, should
It,
we guess? Wait, it's not. No, I don't know.
it's the
Noah, do you
snow
know?
moon.
Oh, it's the snow moon. That's
Yes.
nice. We have plenty of that, so I guess we're on time for the snow moon.
There you go. And I think there's a football game tomorrow night. I don't know if anybody around here is too interested in watching that, but
Yeah, we forgot about that. Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah. What's the one we want to win now?
At this point, I really don't care.
He's not a sore loser or anything. No, but we're
I'm
very
very
proud of Josh
parochial
Allen, right?
when it comes to football. So if the Bills aren't in it, I'm not terribly interested. So
Yeah. But we did get enough uplifting moment with Josh Allen becoming the MVP, right?
that was fun. That was fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
It was an interesting show for football. Those guys dancing was cracking me up. I'm like, TikTok is everywhere.
I didn't see it, so I was
Yep.
playing euchre with some of my McQuaid classmates Thursday
Oh,
night. So
a
I
little
didn't
gambling.
find out about it until the next morning.
All right. Well, it was interesting. And I'm sure it's online somewhere, but yeah, there were like these big football guys like doing dancing together on the stage. It was pretty funny. Anyway, I get a kick out of those things. I try not to get my face into the phone too much because it can suck you in and you never get out. But there are some fun things on there, and of course I like the little animals things. And John's always saying, "Don't show me another video of an animal. I don't care." So I'll try to be good. Okay, not do that. And
No.
well, I'll see you next week, Mike.
You will indeed. I'll be here. Folks, I hope you'll be able to join us also for another hour. It's going to be fun. It's going to be informative. Have a great week and be well and be kind.
Yeah, and I was told by someone this week that they liked that we did a quote last week, so I have another one. I'm going to say, growing old together is like a fine wine, becoming richer and more complex with each passing year. Folks, we agree because we know, and I hope you do too, that seniors rock.